Let's take a look at the first category called basic square and cubic equations. So we're going to solve for x, and we're going to express our answer as an integer for integers in simplest radical form. So essentially, when you solve for x, you want to get x by itself. So let's start by adding 5 on both sides. That will cancel those out. We get negative x squared equals negative 10 plus 5 is negative 5. I'm going to rewrite this over here just because I have space here. So all I did right now is add 5 to both sides. And then we don't want negative x squared, we want positive x squared. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. And that will just literally get rid of the negatives. So instead of negative x squared, it's now positive x squared. Instead of negative 5, it is now positive 5. Okay, and last but not least, we must square root now. So x squared equals 5. We don't want x squared. What is the opposite of squaring something? It is to square root something. So I'm going to square root both sides. And then the square root and the squared cancel out. We get x is equal to, and then remember that when you square root something, you have positive or negative square root of 5. Square root of 5, it doesn't simplify to anything else, so we're going to leave it in this radical form. So we're going to leave it inside the radical. We're not going to use a decimal. We're going to leave it in radical form because they want it in radical form. So x is equal to positive or negative square root 5. And so remember that that plus or minus means there's two answers. There's positive square root 5 and there's negative square root 5. So these are our two answers. All right. Let's save that. So I'm going to make a second answer box, and I want square root of 5, and I want negative square root of 5. So I'm going to submit this. Okay. And let's do another one. So we're going to solve for m. It's just the same thing as solving for x. It's just a different letter. It's totally fine. So we're going to solve for m and express your answer as an integer or integers in simplest radical form. I don't know why that was so hard to read. But anyways, get m by itself. So to do that, I'm going to add 8. Add 8. Those negative 158 plus 8 gives us negative 150. I said it and then I wrote negative 50. I think there's a small disconnect in my brain today, but it's okay. We'll get through it. So that gives you negative 150. Those cancel out. We'll get negative 5m squared. I'm going to rewrite that over here. Okay. So from here, we want to get m squared by itself. So let's get rid of the negative 5. The m squared is being multiplied to negative 5, so the opposite of multiplication is division. So I am dividing both sides by negative 5 so that the multiplied and the dividing by negative 5 can cancel out. This will give us positive 30 is equal to m squared. Positive 30 because negative divided by negative gives us a positive number. So positive 30 is equal to m squared. From here, we're going to square root both sides, because to get rid of a squared, you want to do the opposite. You want to square root. So I square root both sides, and the square root and the squared cancel out, leaving us with just m. And then I will get positive or negative square root of 30. And so remember that the positive or negative means that there's two answers. There's the positive square root 30 and there's a negative square root 30. Wow. I don't know what's wrong with me. There we go. Positive square root 30 and negative square root 30. Are there any questions on this one? Let's keep going. Make a second answer box. We have square root of 30 and we have negative square root of 30. Okay, let's go to the next category.